we have here from left to right the Fjällräven Akka RS3, the MSR Hubba NX2 and the Hilleberg Akto one-person tent. Do I own the perfect tent? Stick around to find out.
You ready, dear?
Yes.
Yes?
I am.
Should we do it then?
Yes.
Right, that's the grass cut. Let's have a look at some tents. Okay, got 3 tents to look at today. The first one is the Hilleberg Akto. The second one is MSR Hubba NX2. And the third one is my Fjällräven Akka RS3. 3 tents. Which one's the best? Which one's the perfect tent? Let's have a look. All right, so there we have it, 3 different tents by 3 different manufacturers. That's the Hilleberg Akto one-person tent. That's the MSR Hubba NX2 2-person tent. And here is the big one. That's the Fjällräven Akka RS3 3-person tent. Sorry about the contrast. The sun and the tree shadows are causing a little bit of problem. Well, there we are, 3 different tents. I'm not going to go into detail today about each of these tents, but just have a look at them quickly and then see if we can decide if there's one which is the favourite or the perfect tent. All right, let's start with that one. Hilleberg Akto. Let's tell you a little bit about these tents then. This is the Akto one-person tent. Hilleberg have got a reputation for extremely high quality tents. Almost, well, expedition tents, if you like. Very, very sturdy. Can stand up to pretty much anything you throw at them. And for that, of course, you get to pay a nice hefty price for them. They're not cheap, but then you get what you pay for. This is a very nice tent. Why do I buy a tent like this? You know, some people might say that, what do you need an expedition tent for? There's a little bit of snobbery out there as well, that you don't have to buy these kinds of tents. I live in Finland, central Finland. 4 or 5 months of the year it can be anything between -5 and -35, and then you've got the autumn and the winter. So the summer is actually quite short in Finland. So the fair weather tents for most of the year are pretty useless in that kind of condition. So it's nice to have a tent that, if you are out and the weather turns nasty, well, then you've got something that can take care of you. And this one, I have to say, I do like it a lot. It's a very nice tent. When you're in it, it feels safe. There's quite a lot of space inside for a one-person tent. It has a vestibule which is big, which was one of the reasons I bought it, actually, because it has this large vestibule where you can keep your pack and your boots, and if it's not such good weather, you can do your cooking and things there. I've got the ground sheet on this one, mainly for putting it up in the forest. not sure what sort of ground you're going to put it up on, and also it keeps the condensation down on the inside of the tent. It stops it coming from the grass and the earth. So it keeps the condensation on the inside of the tent down quite a lot. The materials are excellent. Maybe I'll put the few details up there. You can just see that everything about it is high quality. You can feel the materials are high quality. It's got a high up vent here, so if it does snow, then you've got a vent up here that you can still use. That's one of the key things of making a 3-season tent into a 4-season tent, making sure you've got ventilation high up. So if the snow falls and you've got low ventilation points, well then you've got no ventilation, but this is quite high. One here and one on either end. I've not had a problem with condensation, to be honest. Times I've used it, it's been fine. I like it a lot. It's a little bit heavier for a 1-person tent. Is it 1.7 kilos without the footprint? So with this ground sheet, it's heavier. So it's on the heavier end for a 1-person tent. But then if the weather's going to turn and you want a little bit of safety or security, well, it's not that much extra to carry. The pack size is a little bit bigger than I'd like, but managed fine. Any dislikes? I guess the weight, the size of the pack is perhaps one thing. Here there's a little window, mesh window here, which is, it's got a Velcro catch, so you can open it up. It's not a big window, so if you're inside and this is closed, you haven't got much of a view. I get eaten alive by mosquitoes here. So it's not the best. I'd like a little bit more mesh, if I'm honest, so I can see out a little bit. Apart from that, I've got nothing negative to say about it. I love it. It's a heavy duty tent. It's keeps me safe in those windy and wet conditions. Very easy to put up. Putting the 3 tents up now side by side. This was actually the quickest and easiest. Some say it takes a little bit of faffing about to get it tight. Nah, I've never noticed that. It's quite quick and easy to put up. Quickest of the 3 actually. The Hubba is very quick as well. That's easy. This is a single pole, 1 pole, and a couple of peg points. Yeah, maybe that's the other thing that's not so good with this, is that it's not freestanding, so you have to put it and peg it. I've been to a few places where it's rocky and you can't actually peg a tent. That can be a bit of a pain. So that's one maybe downside. You have to peg it down. Otherwise, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to do this fairly quickly because I am getting eaten by mosquitoes. So next in line is the 2-person Hubba. Let's have a look at that. Actually, before we move on, let's just show you around a little bit. Here's one of the ventilation points at the end. There's one on each end under the zip. There you go. Then you've got ventilation on both sides. You can only get to that from the outside, so if you decide you want a little bit of extra ventilation, you've got to get out of the tent. On the inside there's the vestibule I was talking about. Nice large vestibule. You can put everything in there that you need. Put the ground sheet, and there's the inside of the tent. It's nice and spacey actually. You've got this part here which goes out, which gives you a little bit of extra space to put some gear and things. A bit difficult to show you, but there we are. That's the inside of the tent. Home from home. That's nice. I've got plenty of room still at the end of the tent for my feet. The height is not the highest, if I'm honest. If you're sitting up, I'm sitting up, you can see I'm touching the top of the tent, and there's no sleeping pad in here at the moment either. So if you've got a pad and you're sitting on the pad, well then, yeah, that's an issue. I'm not the tallest person either. I'm 5'8", 1.72 meters. So it could be a little bit taller, but then it makes up for it in other ways. All right, let's move on. The Hubba NX2. This is my newest tent, and I have to say that I'm delighted with it. I like it a lot. It has 2 doors, 2 vestibules, good ventilation, a little bit higher up, so if you get any snowfall, it's not going to be an issue. Okay, can't do it one-handed. Freestanding tent, so you can pick it up and move it about wherever you want. It weighs 1.4 kilos, so it's 300 grams lighter than the 1-person tent. Let's show you inside. These are little gutters for the rain, so if it rains and you have the door open, the rain will run down these channels and run off onto the ground and not drip into the vestibule. So that's a nice little bonus. There we are. So I can open it like that, or I can take this peg out and open the whole side of the tent up. There's the vestibule, probably actually as big as the Akto. Yeah. And then here's the inside of the tent. Very spacious. Now then, this is a 2-person tent. One of the reasons I bought this, apart from the weight for a hiking tent, was that this is actually a real 2-person tent. A lot of the 2-person tents are, you can fit 2 into it at a push, but only with a regular width mat. Now I've had the sleeping pads, the sleeping mats I've bought, these Nemo tents are regular length but wide, so they're a little bit wider than the normal pad, and you can't fit 2 of those side by side into most of the 2-person tents today, but this one you can. I was a little bit nervous when I bought it, and when I tried it the first time to see if I could get 2 of those pads in, and you can easily. Here's the inside of the tent. It's light. It doesn't feel at all claustrophobic. There's a pole across the top which pulls the sides out, so the sides are almost vertical, which gives you that little bit of extra room. I have to say I do like this tent. I just took it out recently for the first time alone as a 1-person tent, because you can. It's so light. It's lighter than this Akto. Stick it in your pack. It's the lightest tent of the 3 I've got. It takes up the smallest space in a pack, but then you've got so much space if you're alone. You've got the 2 vestibules. You can put your pack one side, and then you can put your boots and things and cooking things on the other side. So there's plenty of space. All right, that's a good tent. I do like that. And also with it being freestanding, there's not an issue with putting it up. One of the places I go is on the boat. It's an island, and it's basically a rock. There's no way you can put pegs anywhere because it's just a rock. But this one, You need one peg if you want to put the vestibule out, but you can always anchor it with a rope to a tree if you want to pull it out. Otherwise it's totally freestanding. And it's so light you can pick it up, move it wherever you want. That's the MSR Hubba NX2. Next, Fjällräven. There it is. That's a beast of a tent. 3-person tent, almost 4 kilos, 3.7 kilos. So it's not a light tent if you're thinking about taking it out backpacking, but we did it. We took that on an 87 kilometer 4-day hike for 3 nights. We used it. We managed fine. It's got plenty of space. It's a tunnel tent. I've not pegged these down properly. It has a door which will roll up out of the way, and then you've got a fly sheet, so if you want to roll the door up and leave that open for the night for plenty of ventilation, you can. If we put that up, we can see inside here we've got a lot of space for your packs and your boots and cooking. That's a living space. That's a big space in there. So that was a bit of a luxury actually when we were hiking, to have all this space, and we used it. Let me put this door up and I'll show you the inside. Okay, there we are with the door open. You can see then inside you've got a ton of room in there. It's a little room on its own, so if it's bad weather you can easily live in this space. It's high up, tall, so you got no issue with your head touching the top. And then the door is the same, the inside door is the same as the outer door, but you've got a double system, so if you want you can disconnect or open that fly sheet away from the main door and just have the fly net, so that you got plenty of ventilation. More ventilation there on each end, high up, so if it snows you've not got an issue with the snow covering the ventilation, and plenty of space. With regular mats you could sleep 3 in there, but for 2 it's very comfortable. And we use this, well, we use it if we take the car with us, and we can put it in the car. But then, so we have hiked 87 kilometers with this on our backs, and we managed just fine. It was okay. Would I do it again? No, I take the Hubba. I take that one because it's so much lighter and a good tent. Fjällräven, you can't buy this anymore. What's the equivalent now? Is it the Abisko? I guess 3-person tent. You're talking €1,000. It's not a cheap tent, so I couldn't replace that in a hurry. But you get what you pay for. Again, it's a 4-season tent. A little bit heavier, but plenty of space. Pricing then. How much is that one? Hilleberg Akto. Probably talking about €600 to €700. Very expensive tent. Well, but then you get what you pay for. This one, Hubba NX2. How much is that now? Is it new? Would be about, is it €550? Don't quote me on that. So it's nowhere near as expensive as the Hilleberg, but it's a 3-season tent, and I don't see why you couldn't actually use that in winter as well, if it's because the tent actually comes pretty much down to the ground to stop the snow from blowing in. You've got high ventilation points. It's highly waterproofed. So I mean, that could be a a 4-season tent as well, and it's much cheaper, much more roomy, much lighter. So unless you're going up Mount Everest, well, you're probably better with this one than the Akto. And then this one, the Fjällräven 3-person tent. So 3 different tents, 3 different manufacturers, 3 different uses. Which one is my favourite? Which one is the best tent? What do you think? So, what's the perfect tent? All right. If we know anything about tents, we know there's no such thing as a perfect tent, because it depends where you're going, what you're using the tent for, what sort of conditions, how many people. Are you hiking? Are you going in a car? So there's no such thing as a perfect tent. There are tents for every occasion. If I think of my tents, it's 3 together. Get as close as I can to covering me in every situation. I've got the Hilleberg Akto. That's going to take care of me in bad weather. 4 seasons, I can take it out and it's going to look after me in any kind of conditions. That's the tent that I feel nice and warm and comfortable and safe. The Hubba NX2. I do like that tent, I have to say. I do like that tent. That's the new one in my range. And let's come back to that one. The Fjällräven. Fjällräven is a 3-person tent. There you go, can you see it? That's great if we go out in the car. We don't need to worry about space in the backpacks. We don't need to worry about weight. We have plenty of space to put all our things, to do our cooking. If the weather turns, we've got a lot of room in the front. Everything goes up at once, like the Hilleberg, so we don't have to worry about the inner getting wet. So that's a car tent, I guess, or we have used it on long hikes without any issues, but it is a little bit heavy, so it'll take care of us with those kinds of situations. This one, this MSR Hubba is in the middle. That's filling both. That's filling the space between the two, because it's a real 2-person tent. We can get those 2 wide sleeping pads. It's got 2 doors, 2 large vestibules. It's very, very light. 1.7 kilos. You can lift it up with your little finger. It's not a heavy tent. It packs really small. And light in your backpack. So if we're walking around for a few days, that's the one that we're going to take. And in fact, I used it instead of the Akto on my solo weekend a couple of weekends ago, because it's smaller, and the Hilleberg is actually, it's too hot in the summer. It's too warm. The MSR is a little bit cooler, higher. I can sit up in it. That's my go-to tent at the moment. Which is the perfect one? No, there isn't one. All 3 together would be the perfect tent. Which one would I keep if I could only have one? I don't know if I could answer that. Yeah, I guess it would be the Hubba. Because of what it is, it fills that space between the other 2. But I would dearly miss the other 2 if I gave them up. And they've each got their own advantages in different situations. So no such thing as the perfect tent. My favourite at the moment is probably that MSR, because it's new to me, and it's I do like it. But then the other 2 are good as well in their own way. All right, maybe I'll do a more detailed video on each one sometime, show you putting them up, and a little bit more detail about each one. So keep your eye open for those. When we get a nice day and I get a few hours, I'll have a go at those. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this anyway. Consider them all. They're all good tents, and If you've got any comments, leave them below on your preferences. Otherwise, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and look out for more coming, and see you on the trail.